filled with the primal forces of nature, Mr. Hamlin, and I won't have it!
Do you want me to call security?
Just like 2001, 2004 was a huge year for gaming, not only because some great games came out, but because developers were getting more comfortable with pushing the boundaries of the medium. Not only that, but I was 2 years old, so I could have definitely played Def Jam Fight for New York. The only thing stopping me was my fat little baby hands, and lack of hand-eye coordination. I could only imagine the stress of a Konami employee when you have to push the boundaries again with the next Metal Gear installment, especially when the last 2 games were must-plays. So, the question of the hour is, did Metal Gear Solid 3 blow people away? Like all great things, it had a rough start. Metal Gear Solid 2 was supposed to be Hideo Kojima's last Metal Gear game, but as nobody wanted to take Kojima's place, he cracked his knuckles and got back to work. Kojima presented the game and showed everyone that it was a prequel that preceded Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2, which is great because prequels make the best kind of games. Kojima wanted the game to take place during the Cold War, aka the 1960s, not only to teach the next generation about the dangers of nuclear war and mutually assured destruction, but also to incorporate movies from that time period, like James Bond and Godzilla.
Snake, have you seen 007 From Russia with Love?
Nah, I don't like those movies.
Another selling point to the game was that instead of playing as Solid Snake or Raiden, you play as Big Boss, the war criminal and antagonist throughout the original Metal Gear games. This makes the game immediately interesting as now you want to see how Big Boss became Big Bad. And by this point you're already giving $60 to the GameStop clerk. So, with a better understanding of the PlayStation 2, Kojima and Konami released Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater to Japan and North America on November 17th, 2004. And man, oh man, is it a game. When you start the game, you see this awesome title screen, where, with different inputs, you are able to change the color, the speed, and the patterns in the background. Starting the game, you're greeted with real-world tie-ins to the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis. This sets Big Boss's, aka Naked Snake's, mission to recover a defected scientist named Sokolov from a fictional Russian jungle. Plus, if you select that you like Metal Gear Solid 2, you'll spawn in the game wearing a Raiden mask. Too bad you don't get his curves too, you know what I'm saying, boys. This part of the game is the intro to the gameplay and the story. You're introduced to Major Zero, Paramedic, and the boss, who is Snake's mentor. Surely, nothing bad will happen between the two of them later on. With the characters out of the way, I can now talk about the gameplay. Before I played this game, I hadn't played a better stealth action game. Not only does this game incorporate the Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay, but Snake is now able to do something called CQC, or Close Quarters Combat. CQC gives Snake the ability to take down, interrogate, or murder anyone with a single precise button press. Kojima made it so that your suppressors break over time, making players use CQC more in order to be stealthy and epic. This makes the near-perfect gameplay in MGS2 feel perfect in Metal Gear Solid 3. This, with all the new items and mechanics you can use, makes every section feel fun to play. Plus, there's practically no music throughout the levels, besides when you get caught or boss fights. And that's when the jams kick in. If you're ever injured, need to change your camouflage or get hungry, then you have to pause the game and go through a couple menus for a couple of minutes. It's funny when Snake eats something because he gives a food review and sometimes a little presentation on how to eat live animals.
Onion ring! I got an onion ring!
It gets annoying during boss fights or when a leech latches onto you mid-game and drains your hunger bar, and you don't know where the hunger is draining super quickly, so you keep eating food because you think Snake is secretly shitting his pants. Not to mention...
How is that not racist to you?
Okay, this is a terrible example of blackface. This guy isn't even trying to look like a real person.
Anyways, during cutscenes you're able to change the camera by pressing R1, giving you a POV of what Snake is seeing. What a genius mechanic to make people not ignore your cutscenes. Speaking of mechanics, the camo index is also an addition to the game which negates the crazy range of vision the NPCs have. All this contributes to the game feeling smooth as butter. Plus, the little things really bring it in all together. For example, if you stay on the game over screen long enough, it'll change to time paradox. That's because without Big Boss, there will be no Solid Snake or Liquid Snake. Big L. Oh, right, this game has a story. So, Naked Snake nabs Sokolov, and the game reminds you that the time period is in the 1960s, with a young revolver Ocelot.
That's Major Ocelot to you. And don't you forget it.
Once cutscene Snake takes down Ocelot, you run into the Shagohod, which is a big scary mech of the game. Compared to the previous Metal Gears, it is a toaster. The first time I saw the Shagohod, I thought, oh hell yeah! This game is going to be easy. Then the boss betrays you and breaks all of your limbs. You're introduced to Colonel Volgin, plus his lightning powers, and the Cobra unit's cool cats. Snake gets tossed into the river and you patch him up. Thank God he's okay. Hopefully, nothing else terrible happens. He's good, don't worry. I love the intro to this game because it sets up the relationship between the boss and Snake perfectly. But now we're done with the intro. It's time to move on to the meat of the game.
I'm searching and I'll melt into you.
Snake recovers and gets dropped back into the Russian jungle. This time around, Snake has to destroy the Shagohod to prevent world destruction, and Snake also has to kill his mentor, the boss. Snake is capable though, he's got this in the bag. Oh man, you walk a little and then you meet with Eva, who is super badass. But the game shows its 1960s inspiration when you press R1. Snake keeps his cool though, until Eva gives him a gun. Then his inner JROTC comes out.
Incredible.
Do you like it?
The feeding ramp is polished to a mirror sheen. Where'd you get something like this?
Okay, I'm gonna talk more broadly about the game now. Eva discusses the inner complexities of defection and loyalty and why she defected from the US.
Coming here made me realize something. Half of what I'd been told was a complete and utter lie. The other half was a conveniently constructed lie.
That's sweet. Snake then fights Ocelot.
This reload time is exhilarating.
Some bees show up and he dives into a chasm. That leads to you fighting the Pain, which is really fun because you have to dodge bee bullets from his mouth. And then he explodes when he dies.
The pain. The pain. The pain. The pain.
Almost all the bosses explode, and I have no explanation for this. Is what I would have said if I didn't look it up and see that it is micro bombs. You explore a little bit and you come up on Volgin being Volgin and Ocelot being Ocelot. Oh, and I should definitely mention that through all of this, the boss doesn't really feel like a bad guy. You're kind of just waiting for Kojima to do the good old, I was actually on your side the whole time shenanigan. But since the game is constantly having you focusing on Sokolov and the Shagohod, you tend to not really think about how Snake has to kill his mentor. Anyways, there's a super cool Easter egg of later Metal Gears and Otacon's dad. Plus, the game discusses patriotism and defection again.
Why are you helping me?
Unlike Sokolov, the thought of defecting has never once crossed my mind. I love my country.
So now I'm sensing a theme. After that, you backtrack a little and then you fight the Fear. It's easy, but he tried his best. give them a break. I love easy boss fights, but I also love complex and hard boss fights. Lucky for me, the very next boss fight is complex, and depending on how you go about the fight, it can be hard or easy. I'm talking about the end fight, where you got this old dude sniping you from some hideaway and you can pretty much choose any way to go about this fight. You can sneak up and shoot him, snipe him, chase after him till his old man bones give out, or wait an in real life week so that he dies of old age. The last one isn't even a joke. You can actually put the game down and win a boss fight with enough time. There's probably a lot more ways to beat this boss, but that's the handful I got. Oh, and of course, he explodes. Don't worry. After the fight, Snake comes up to this big tunnel and this ladder. Now is the perfect time to bring up a big topic in making a game, pacing. To make sure that people enjoy and have a good time with your game, you're going to want to make sure that they don't put it down for a huge period of time. For every cool and dope and swag and awesome part of a game, you gotta counter it with a little slow section. Therefore, the existence of this huge ladder. But that's not all it's here for. It's here for another reason. Reflection. Since it's just a ladder where all you have to do is point the joystick in one direction, it is important to keep your audience glued to the screen somehow. So, what Kojima did was play the vocals of Snake Eater, the song played in the intro. This was also done in the original Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2. It is done so that the player is now thinking back to their journey so far and what they have to do in the future. So, although this ladder is memed to hell and back, I like it. And I just talked about it for 2 minutes. Let's move on.
Make no mistake, there is a spy among us.
Then you fight the Fury, and he's alright. You shoot at him until he dies and then he explodes. Then the game has you disguising as a Raiden cameo, and since Snake is now Raiden, he gets fondled. Snake gets caught and tortured and stabbed and shot, and his eye is shot, and Eva is all like,
I've prepared an escape route for us. Go out and head west.
and now you're imprisoned. To get out of the jail cell, you can use the ghost code given, fake your death, befriend the guard, or get sick. The amount of options given to the player throughout the game is something that cannot be understated. And there are no hints for this shit, just your gamer brain figuring it out on your own, and it's a massive dopamine rush. Then you escape Groznygrad and you get a really cool cutscene with Ocelot.
Snake!
Which leads to Snake diving into a river, and the Sorrow boss fight begins.
And you are one of them. I am the sorrow.
This fight is very cool because the length and difficulty of it is entirely determined by how many people you've killed throughout the game. Lucky for me, I only killed one person, accidentally. But I felt terrible seeing that guy again. Once the fight is over, he doesn't explode because he was already killed by the boss.
Want to finish your mission, don't you? Then you'll have to shoot me. The spirit of the warrior will always be with you. Don't be sad. We'll meet again someday.
That's sad. Anyways, since Snake's eye is gone, when you go into first person mode, now the vision is a little covered up on the right. Neat. Then Snake spends a night with Eva.
Let's see. How about sushi?
Sushi?
And he's back on the road again.
It's a button camera.
Snake plants explosives on the Shagohod, and it looks like everything is going splendidly. Oh, and then Eva gets jumped, and then Snake gets jumped, which is awkward because the bombs you planted are on a timer, which the Sorrow keeps trolling about while Volgan monologues. Now it's time to fight Volgan, and the fight is timed, and he puts up a good fight, but you know, you're Snake, you kick his ass. Then the place blows up, and Volgan is in the Shagohod, and Snake is on a motorcycle with Eva. This surely must be dope. It's a very on-the-rails shooting section, so it's nothing to write home about. It's short though, and can entirely be negated with the Cold War camo, so it's nothing. Now you get to fight the Shagohod, and it's dope. Especially when Volgan gets pissed and controls the thing like Ratatouille. Once it's over, he gets struck by lightning. Big L for the big man. Mission accomplished. Nothing to do now, but celebrate, right? Eva crashes the motorbike and you have to escort her through the woods while her hunger is draining super fast. You only have to escort her through 2 big areas though, so it's not disastrous. Maybe I was too hard on Metal Gear Solid 2. Well, once the section is over, it's now for the final boss. Yep, Snake's mentor and the ever badass boss.
When life ends, it gives off a final lingering aroma. Light is but a farewell gift from the darkness to those on their way to die. I've been waiting, Snake, for a long time. Waiting for your birth, your growth, and the finality of today.
Boss, why are you doing this?
Why? To make the world one again. I loved you. I've given you weapons, taught you techniques, endowed you with knowledge. There is nothing more for me to give you. All that's left for you to take is my life, by your own hand. One must die, and one must live. No victory, no defeat. The survivor will carry on the fight. It is our destiny. The one who survives will inherit the title of boss. And the one who inherits the title of boss will face an existence of endless battle. I'll give you 10 minutes.
I mean, I could go on forever about how fucking amazing this fight is, how hard it is, how you have to utilize everything you've learned throughout the game for this very fight, how the tunes are usually restricted to boss fights, but how it is just quiet. Nothing but the breeze. How amazing the scenery is, and how the boss praises you if you're winning.
You're better than I remember.
And scolds you if you mess up.
All these years and still nothing to show for it.
But for me, the real, holy shit, this fight is amazing moment is about 2/3 into the fight, where the boss will talk about the time remaining, and then the instrumentals for Snake Eater start to play.
Here I come!
Now, the reflection from the ladder is kicking in, making you think about how far you've come, how far Snake has gone in this journey, how Snake has to kill his mentor no matter what, and there is no Kojima switcheroo.
Jack. Or should I say, Snake. You're a wonderful man. Kill me. Kill me now. Do it. There's only room for one boss and one Snake.
You can pull the trigger yourself or let the game do it for you, but no matter what, the boss dies here. Yeah, really sad shit. But Snake and Eva escape and they make out, and then Eva reveals that she was a spy sent from China the whole time. What? Snake gets the title of Big Boss.
You are above even the boss. I hereby award you the title of Big Boss.
And that's where the game should end, right? Wrong! Kojima pulls the switcheroo now, revealing the boss was working for America the entire time. But since Volgan nuked Russia, they put the blame on her solely, so she had to die to make sure that her country remained innocent. Her loyalty and patriotism to her country led to her being used as a scapegoat and abandoned. Not only that, but for America to show the whole world that they were innocent, they made it so that Snake would be the person to kill the boss. War is terrible and has terrible consequences. Today's friends can be tomorrow's enemies, and vice versa.
Snake. History will never know what she did. No one will ever learn the truth. Her story, her debriefing, will endure only in your heart.
And on that note, the game ends with Big Boss saluting the boss's grave. Surely, this man won't commit any war crimes. Thank you all for watching. I put a ton of love and effort into this video, so I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'ma take a quick jaunt through the Russian jungle. Surely, I will come out without any trauma.